You bought the thing, the car, the house, the job title you used to whisper to yourself in the mirror. For 3 days, it worked. Then your brain did something it has done to every human being who has ever lived. It got bored of it. Instantly. Automatically. Without asking your permission. If you think that means something's wrong with you, you're not even close. Because there's a molecule in your head right now, smaller than a grain of pollen, that has been quietly running your entire life. And for almost a century, scientists studying it were completely wrong about what it does. To understand why, you have to meet a monkey in a lab in Switzerland who accidentally broke modern neuroscience. In the early 1990s, a researcher named Wolfram Schultz was recording individual brain cells in a monkey, trying to understand a chemical called dopamine. The theory at the time was simple. Dopamine equals pleasure. Give the monkey a reward. The dopamine cells fire. The monkey feels good. That's exactly what happened. At first. Then Schultz trained the monkey to associate a light with the arrival of juice. And something strange started happening in the data. Something that shouldn't have been possible if the old theory was true. The dopamine stopped firing when the juice arrived. It started firing earlier, the instant the light turned on. Schultz ran the experiment again. Same result. The reward itself barely moved the needle anymore. The cue was doing all the work. So he tried something crueler. He turned the light on and withheld the juice. The dopamine neurons didn't just stay quiet. They dropped below their resting rate, like the brain itself was registering a debt that hadn't been paid. That was the moment neuroscience quietly rewrote itself. Dopamine was never the reward chemical. It's a prediction chemical. It fires for the gap between what you expect and what you get, and it fires hardest for the thing that hasn't happened yet. Now take that discovery and walk it 50,000 years back into a forest with a woman who hasn't eaten since yesterday. She spots a bush heavy with ripe berries. Watch what happens inside her skull in that exact moment. The dopamine doesn't wait for her to taste anything. It fires the second she sees the bush. Move. Now. Go. Not a reward. A command. She reaches it. She eats. And within minutes, the feeling drains out almost as fast as it arrived, because the gap has closed. The mystery is solved. There's nothing left to predict. That should feel like a flaw. It isn't. If enough had lasted 6 months, she'd have stopped walking, stopped scanning the tree line, stopped preparing for the season closing in behind her. So evolution rigged the game on purpose. It made the chase feel better than the catch. Permanently. And here's where the story stops being about a forest and starts being about you. In 1978, 2 psychologists ran an experiment that should have been the most straightforward study in the history of happiness research. They tracked down 22 people who had just won the lottery. Life-changing money, some of it well over $1 million. For comparison, they also interviewed a group of ordinary neighbors who'd won nothing, and a third group, people who had recently been paralyzed in accidents. The obvious prediction, the lottery winners are thrilled. The accident victims are devastated. Case closed. That is not what the data showed. The lottery winners rated their present happiness at almost exactly the same level as the people who'd won nothing. And on one measure, the winners scored worse than everyone else. They took significantly less pleasure in ordinary, mundane moments. Reading a magazine, a conversation with a friend, small joys that used to register, barely registered at all anymore. Winning the lottery didn't break their happiness. It just proved the bush was never the point. The mind doesn't remember the berries. It remembers the hunt, and it's already looking for the next one. Dopamine doesn't pay you for arriving. It only pays you for still moving. But chasing rewards is only half the machine. The other half is arguably worse, because it isn't hunting for berries. It's hunting for danger that usually isn't there. Picture a single camp. One fire, burned down to embers overnight. 2 people waking up inside it. The first feels the calm morning and thinks, "Good day. I'll rest a while longer." He closes his eyes again. The second doesn't move. She's noticed something the first one missed. The birds outside camp have gone silent. All of them. At once. She waits. 30 feet into the brush. Something shifts that shouldn't be there. She gives the signal. The camp scatters. Everyone survives the morning. Here's the twist almost nobody expects. Evolution didn't keep the calm one's bloodline going. It erased it completely, and kept only the one who felt uneasy at exactly the right moment. Which means the brain sitting in your skull right now isn't descended from the humans who felt good. It's descended, generation after generation, from the ones who never fully relaxed. The brain didn't survive by feeling safe. It survived by refusing to. And that single inherited habit explains something about you that you've probably never been able to explain. 10 compliments. 1 piece of criticism. You already know which one is replaying in your head tonight. That's not insecurity. That's an alarm system with excellent aim, still running, with nothing left to hunt. So now you have 2 separate ancient machines, both still fully operational, both installed before agriculture existed. One built to chase, one built to fear, and neither one was ever updated for the world you actually live in. Here's how far that mismatch actually goes, and this next part sounds like it shouldn't be true. In 2003, a UCLA psychologist named Naomi Eisenberger put people inside a brain scanner and had them play a simple game. 3 players, 1 ball, tossed back and forth on a screen. Nothing was at stake. Nobody's body was ever touched. Then, partway through, the other 2 players stopped throwing the ball to the volunteer entirely. Just ignored them. For the rest of the game. Watch the scanner in that exact moment. The same regions of the brain that light up when your body registers actual physical pain. A burn, a break, a wound, lit up in people who had just been excluded from a game with a cartoon ball. Their brains couldn't tell the difference between a broken bone and being left out. Your brain thinks a comment section is a campfire, and getting frozen out of either one registers as an injury. Being cast out of a tribe of 30 people once meant isolation or death. So today, one hostile stranger you'll never meet can trigger the exact same alarm as being cast out of the only group standing between you and the wilderness. Your phone runs this same exposed nerve constantly. That circuitry that once locked onto a snapped branch, a shifting shadow, anything new in the tree line. It's still fully online right now, tonight, in this room. Which means when your phone buzzes, you are not reacting like a modern person checking a modern device. You're reacting like a hunter who just heard something move in the brush. Your brain cannot tell the difference. It was never built to. Even hunger got hijacked the same way. Ancient brains rewarded eating as much as possible whenever food appeared, because nobody knew when the next meal was coming. Then someone invented the supermarket aisle. 30 kinds of bread. An entire wall of nothing but snacks. The ancient instinct never got the memo that scarcity ended. Same wiring. Completely different forest. And it's been quietly steering your life this whole time, without ever once asking permission. Which brings us to the question this entire investigation has actually been circling. If your brain is built to chase things it can't keep, fear things that aren't there, and treat a screen like a life or death threat, is lasting happiness simply off the table? Here's the reversal that changes everything. Go back to that same camp one more time. Not at dawn now, at dusk. The hunting is done. The fire's rebuilt. The children are close and fed. Ask her if she's happy, and she might not have an answer for you. But she'd have something else. Something the modern chase quietly forgot to chase. Every hour of that day mattered. The walking mattered. The watching mattered. Nothing about the day was empty. Your brain was never built to manufacture happiness on command. It was built to reward contribution. Happiness was only ever the byproduct, never the target. Which means a comfortable life, stripped of anything worth solving, doesn't quiet that ancient machinery. It just leaves both old systems, the chaser and the alarm, hunting for a threat that no longer exists. Inventing one, if it has to. Tonight, when this video ends, your brain is going to do the one thing it cannot help doing. It's going to reach for the next thing, the next task, the next notification, the next fix. Don't fight it. You can't switch off 50,000 years of wiring by wanting to. But you were never asking the right question. It was never, how do I finally become happy? Somewhere back at that fire, a woman who never got a single full day of rest handed down the only inheritance she had. An engine built to notice, to chase, to protect what matters, built to never fully stop. She didn't get to choose what hers was pointed at. The danger chose for her. You do. The fire is still burning inside you right now, whether you feed it or not. The only question evolution never answered for you is what you're going to let it burn for.